Romantika Floral and Event Styling, a family-owned and operated business with 15 years of industry knowledge, experience, and expertise. Their comprehensive styling and coordination of your event allows you to focus on other key areas of your special day. Their complimentary, in-depth initial and review appointments allow you to understand and discuss requirements prior to your commitment. Romantica work with trusted suppliers in the industry for other styling elements such as chairs, chandeliers, or tableware. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Wedding Master, Romantica. Hi guys, it's Joe the Wedding Master here. I'm at a very special interview tonight. I'm not at a wedding venue. I'm actually at the headquarters, the head office of one of Australia's, Sydney's best stylists. I'm here with Dave Rostevsky from Romantica, is that right?
That's correct.
Hi Dave.
Nice to see you, Joe. How are you going?
Nice to see you. Now,
Thank
Dave,
you for coming in.
Thank you. Look, I've taken some footage of Dave's showroom, and I've also got some images of some of his past weddings. And when I say Dave, it's a family, yeah?
Yeah, so it's a family business of myself, my mum and my dad.
Yep.
My beautiful creative mum was the one that initially started the business officially back in 2008. And then we've kind of blossomed and moved forward as a family together since then.
Very good. So yeah, I've got some images and I'm going to show you guys. And look, it's always a pleasure to work with Dave.
It always is.
It always is. We started on as an MC. You always want to meet the best vendors, and you know I got told I was about 4 years ago. I got told, hey, you're working with Romantica this weekend. Watch out, they're a bit tough. And so I show up at the venue, and I still remember Dalton House, and we talk about this often.
Always.
I show up, and your dad was up on a ladder, and it was one of the really tall ladders at Jones Bay Wharf, and he was up there really high, and they were up there for a long time, setting this beautiful thing above a bridal table, and I'm kind of standing at the back of the room, just watching them, and they're probably going, "Who's this weird person?" They come down off the ladder, they pack the ladder away, and they're looking at me, they're going, "What?" I go, "It's not meant to be in the middle, is it?" I've never seen two people kind of run and look up, and then they looked at me and I was laughing. We've had a good relationship since. It's always been in the middle, right?
That's right. Perfection takes time, and it's always good to have a laugh with the people you're working with as well.
Well, that's right. So look, a lot of what we do at the Wedding Master, and guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Wedding Master, subscribe now. What I like to ask our vendors is obviously, how did you start? How did Romantica come? You said it was your mum and dad, but how did it all start? Did one day your mum get some flowers and give them to someone? They said, "You're good at picking flowers." Like, tell me, how did it all start?
Look, she's always had a passion for it. So ever since she was young, you know, we hear the stories about going to mum and dad's and grandma's, you know, garden and picking the flowers and assembling them and arranging them. So she's always had really a knack for it, you know, from young. Mm-hmm. She was then working at National Australia Bank for a while, kind of doing it on the side, starting with, you know, some family functions, and it kind of kicked off from there. And we said, look, you know, this is maybe something that you should pursue as a career. And we're really proud that she did that. And now, look, we've got all of us here as well. So thankfully, the business has gone really well. The industry is growing as well. You know, beautiful clients always coming in and, you know, asking us to take care of their styling for their events. And yeah, just keep moving forward like everyone else, I guess.
Very good. So, okay, so it's your mum and dad, yourself, your brother as well.
He's involved as well.
Your brother as well. I've seen him on the weekends.
Yep, he's working with us too. So a true family business.
True family business. Yep. Okay, so and how many years has Romantica been around?
So officially since we opened in 2008, but you know before that, since we've been doing events probably from like the early 2000s. Wow.
I can only imagine you've seen, and you know, and Mum's in the background. She's watching behind the camera today. She's like my unofficial roadie or Dave's dresser. But
nice shirt.
Yeah, I can only imagine you've seen some different trends.
Yeah.
And it's important for a stylist to be ahead of the trends.
Of course.
So how does that happen?
So it happens, I guess, by you know researching, having a look at what's happening in other parts of the world. Even sometimes just going into random places like shopping centres and just getting little ideas and triggers from that and kind of running with it as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, having a chat with, other stylists in the industry. Mm-hmm. And then I guess it kind of snowballs and evolves from that.
And look, and we're going to talk about this really soon. and when your clients do come to you, I'm sure they've done their research as well.
Of course, yeah.
And look, clients and brides and grooms out there, before you go see a stylist, before you come see Dave, that's one of the tips. Do some research.
Definitely.
You know, but if they were going to do research, is there like something? Are we following somebody? Do we follow Europe? Do we follow America? Do we follow Asia? Like, is it just we're unique in Australia?
Look, I think we are very unique. I believe that the typical Australian wedding is not what most people are doing in Europe. So we really commend our clients for going a bit more and doing a bit more than I guess your traditional European customers that we see overseas. But I guess it's kind of coming from our local industry, I believe. Like, we're one of the big players in the world, if you like. So you can see, like, even when you're looking on Instagram, for example, there's a lot of inspiration drawn from our local suppliers overseas. So that's really good to see that, we're a part of that along with the people in the industry. And we're I guess, facilitating that change and pushing the industry forward.
Very good. And talking about trends, your mum has done this for us, and
fantastic.
And look, this is just for today's interview. And I've got to say, look, this is something that I'm seeing coming into next year's weddings.
Absolutely.
So we're at the end of 2020, and we can't wait for 2021.
It's been a tough year, hasn't it, Joe?
It's been a fun year. Let's call it fun because everything's learning.
That's
true.
But
just to look at these flowers here, it's an amazing, and Mum's in the back and she's smiling, she's good. This is it's an amazing setup, and so this is what's coming in for next year, yeah.
Definitely. So we've definitely noticed a shift with the preserved, as you can see here, and a lot of the silk flowers as well. I guess it goes back to what we were saying before. The clients are looking to, I guess, dress up the room a bit more than what we originally did. So when we first started in, say, 2008, it was more so just those fresh flowers throughout the room that gave you that nice feel, and that was essentially your decorations, maybe with a few candles. Now, as you can see, Joe, and we've talked about this many times, people are coming in and adding gloss dance floors, beautiful custom candelabras like the ones you see here, setting romantic moods. From Romantica, so what else would you go anywhere else?
What a plug! What an amazing plug! That was good.
If I don't plug our business, who will, right?
That was good.
So I guess, we've definitely noticed a shift with this, and we can, hire these out as part of like a styling package as well. So that then reduces that spend, which then frees up the budget for adding in those other things that I mentioned, such as dance floors, custom bridal tables, MC extraordinaires, and so forth.
Just MCs. And look, okay, so clients are now, they're coming to you. They're about to come to you, and this is what we talked about earlier. So should they have a list of questions ready before, should they have things prepared before they come and see you guys?
Look, I think have fun with it as well. Don't sit there and, prepare.
You've been watching my early episodes. Yes, it's always have fun. But
I forgot what number that was, sorry. So it's
number one.
Number one.
Very good.
Always
have fun.
That's the most important thing, right? So I think the process is important to enjoy the process. So I guess have your plan and your understanding of what you like, but don't stress too much about having these, I guess, set parameters as to what you need. So I guess definitely a good idea of what you're interested in. So that would be, your colors, the style you're going for. So say, for example, are you looking to add some gold into your setup? Are you looking for, some color throughout your preserved flowers or whatever it may be? And generally, once we have that as a starting point, we can then obviously run with it and show you our unique twists and touch of what we can do.
Very good. So, okay, so they've picked their venue. They roughly should have a number of people, roughly.
Yes.
And when I say roughly, guys, if you think you're going to have 200 and then you're worried that there's another 250, go to your stylist with 250. It's easier.
That's right.
There's an old saying in weddings, it's easier to scratch from the race than add. It's easy for him to say, okay, I've got 250 and then you got to remove, but to add is always going to be difficult. So numbers, that's a good one. Colors, styles, very good. Should they have a sort of budget in mind?
Definitely. I mean, it's very important, I guess, to respect that budget, but you've also got to make sure that your budget is in line with what you're after as well. So you need to, I guess, that will come in terms of the meeting with the suppliers and so forth. Then you'll be able to obviously decipher what you can and what you can't add into your styling.
Yep.
And obviously maybe what you not necessarily don't want.
Well, I like something that Dave does, and I've had some experience in watching Dave and how he talks to clients. And Dave will talk to the clients, and I've seen you do this, and he'll send them an email, and it's basically the bells and whistles of everything. So everything you've asked for, and he'll put the bells and whistles on there as well. And it's things that, and you know, that you may not have thought of, but he's thought of it going, look, I'm going to do this. It'll look good with this around it, for example. He puts it in there. And what I always say to a lot of clients, because they come to me after and they go, oh my God, Dave sent me this 4-page letter, and I only asked for 2. And I'll say, look, Dave's asked you now to do your 3 lists. You know, you got your I definitely need this.
Yes.
I've got my wants, and then I've got my needs. You know, and your needs is you definitely need it. Your wants, and then you got your no way. You know, and there's things in there you're going to go, I don't need that. So there's your 3 lists. So after you get Dave's list or your stylist list, you straight away you'll go, no, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. And all of a sudden 4 pages goes down to 3. Then you're left with 2, the needs and the wants. The needs and the wants are the important. The needs are definitely, you know, you need flowers, you need candles, great. Then the wants, do I need this, the writing on the dance floor, for example?
Exactly right.
So as a stylist, because a lot of people go, oh, I can get a florist and a stylist, but there's no real point, is there? Because you are like one-stop shop.
Essentially, the way we've scaled our business is to take care of all the styling needs of the client. So that would be taking care of in-house florals, of course. You know, as we mentioned, with the way the business started with my mum, and we've diversified in you know the last few years into dance floors and custom tables, and they're I guess the kind of bells and whistles that we talk about. And because we offer that comprehensive styling ourselves, we say let's quote it if you're interested in it, and then see how the quote turns out. It's all itemized. Obviously, it's not binding, and then we can come back and, like Joe said, select, you know, what's essential, where can we make those changes to, you know, fit within budget, and to make it all work, of course.
Now, Dave made a good comment to me when I got here today, because he did watch my episode on my 10 tips to planning your wedding.
I actually did.
and he liked number 5, and it's always go to your stylist and get them to measure. Now,
yes,
funny enough,
yes.
I learnt that from somebody. It was this guy right here. I've seen him speak to a bride, and she wasn't that short, they wasn't that tall, and he's got her to sit down at the table. Now, they have different, look, every table's different at a wedding. So brides out there and grooms, you know, if you're worried about it, speak to your stylist. Get them to measure, because, again, a bride, 95% of the photos at a wedding are taken of the bride. 95. Sometimes the groom's in them.
Poor groom.
Sometimes the groom's in them, but it's 95%. And, you know, I always say to people, if budget is a thing, and look, he might not like I say this, but if budget is a thing, I always say to you couples, I say spend money on what people look at the most.
Sure.
Which is bride and groom, bridal table, cake. Everything else tapers off. So if you are on a budget, think about where all the photos are being taken.
Of course.
Bride and groom, bridal table, cake, and then everything tapers off. Because really, that's where all the photos, that's your memorable, you look on Instagram, it's the bride and groom in front of the bridal table. If you're on a budget, throw all your money at that, and then whatever's left over, go to the other tables.
That's it. It's about prioritizing and I guess making sure that you're going to get the maximum effect for your dollar. And like Joe said, that's, I guess, one of the key focus areas that your photographer and videographer will be focusing on. And of course, you'll have your MC lurking around there, so you might get him in a few photos and videos as well.
I try and get out of the photos. No one wants the MC in the background of the photos. But and look, and another tip, and look, and this comes down to venue as well. And this is something that I've picked up over the years. And look, you might disagree with me, but I say when there's a low ceiling, don't have high candelabras, for example, because it ends up looking like a forest. I've been to weddings where low ceilings, high candelabras, big bushy candelabras because they look great, but low ceilings, and literally I'm standing up and I can see forest and people are kind of looking at each other. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that every style represents the room as well as the couple. It's not just the couple. The couple can go, I want chandeliers, but they're in a low ceiling.
That's
well,
right.
They may be in a bit of trouble. Well, Dave, look, thank you very much. How do people get hold of you guys?
So we're, of course, on Instagram and Facebook, so Romantica Floral and Event Styling. Send us an email as well. You'll find our details on our Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, our website as well, so www.romantica.com.au. All our details are on there, and you can obviously get in touch. And just on what Joe was saying as well, we do definitely design briefs based on not only what the client's I guess inspiration is, but based on the room to make sure that we don't have those mismatches in what we're styling and how that works in the room. You want it to be nice and clean and seamless, and they're the kind of conversations we have when we meet to talk about that and make sure it all ties in perfectly.
Very good. Now, look, I like to ask this because,
please, fire away.
You know, you're a stylist, right? You're
Yes.
a stylist in the wedding industry, and there's a lot of people out there, and I've spoken to a couple of other stylists as well. There's got a lot of people out there that go, I want to be a stylist. I want you to tell the people out there your average week, or your average weekend at least. And, you know, and not that I want to scare people off, but a stylist is a hard job to do.
Yes.
So, yeah, Fridays you're packing trucks, yeah?
Fridays we're packing trucks, and look, it's definitely extremely rewarding, but you need to work really, really hard. The most challenging thing for us is when we do, you know, Saturdays into Sundays. We've got, you know, 11 o'clock or a midnight pack down. We're loading the trucks, leaving the venue, and then we're getting ready on Sunday morning with very, very limited sleep. So
if you ever see a Romantica truck driving on a Sunday morning, get out of the way. They haven't had much.
Give me a beep and give me a Red Bull, and I'll be okay.
No, that's very good, David. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you to your mum and dad as well. We're gonna have some whiskey now because that's what we do. And guys, if you haven't, yeah, why not? I'm gonna get Dave to have one. He's never had one. So thank you very much for watching this week's episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe down the bottom here. You'll see the little red button. Leave some comments as well. Dave will read them. I'll read them. I'll get back to each and every one of you. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.